Oh, okay. This is my first time. First of all, this is Jeffrey STARWOLF Quinn saying hi to all the folks out there. This is my first time using this new app. It's called Streamlabs, and it's an English company because the guy that I found out about it from on YouTube is English. He had an English accent. So it's called Streamlabs, and he really liked it and said it was good because I still need to learn how to, you know, set up where I can see people's questions and comments and I can comment back to y'all. And so I might be able to do it on this one, but I'll try. But so far, I haven't been able to do it. So anyway, it's Thanksgiving morning. I want to thank y'all for being here. There we go. That's what happens. From a mixed family in America, about half Northerners, and we don't ever call them Yankees, but Northerners, and the other half from right here in North Carolina and Alabama, Florida, Southerners, and so I imagine it is like this, what I'm going to describe for anyone that has, mixed family like that, either being from different countries, like one of them lives in, France or something, and the others live here in America, and so some of them are going to have one accent, and the other are going to have another accent, and if they switch back and forth to visit and that, well, that can get kind of blurred up too. But anyway, so I got between, actually up north, and up north, of course, there's all different accents as well, just as there are different southern accents in America too. Um, so anyway, I was brought up in the Boston area in Massachusetts and New Hampshire. And so I ended up speaking like, one of the Backstreet Boys or something like that. Oh, wait a minute, they're from California, aren't they? The new kids on the block, I guess, what I was thinking of. Anyway, so this, I wrote it in the description, but I don't know if that came out. But this is going to be a pretty short video, not that long. Now all this time it was facing the other way because it doesn't even have a thing to turn it around and face towards me. Let's see. See if that does it. It's got a totally different menu. Oh my goodness. Well, okay. I guess we can pretend it was like a radio show for a little while there. I guess some bloggers do that sometimes. Vloggers or bloggers. I don't know if you're supposed to say it with a V now or a B. Blogger or blogger. I don't know the difference. Anyway, so I'm getting up here. I will just go through a couple things I was doing. And let's see. Going on over here. Like I said, this is the first time doing it through this Streamlabs app. And it kind of makes it even worse. But now, because I just barely starting to get used to doing it on the YouTube app. But there are a couple things like, I just mentioned that are very important, being able to communicate with you and y'all communicate with me through the comments and everything and see those, which I'm sure I can. Like I said, I'm learning, but I don't know if I can do it through this phone, or there probably is a way that I just don't know. The only way that I've been told so far is just on the YouTube hotspot disconnected. Oh, okay, it just had a pop-up on the screen, which I didn't think was allowed. It said hotspot disconnected. I don't think I need to care about that. With my internet, should be able to go around my house without any hotspot. So we'll just show y'all what the day looks like outside right now. Let's see if that'll turn around again. Well, no, now it doesn't want to turn around the other way. There it goes. Okay. So that's what it looks like out in my front yard right now. We'll just span around like that. And that's that. So, got some leaves in the yard. And that's my decoration for the outside of my door. I had a United States flag right there, but it came off and it was a little old, so I got to put a new one on. And anyway, so and that's what the inside of the door looks like. And some of my family in the pictures there, they don't want anyone seeing them. And hey, STARWOLF. Yeah, it's just one of my tables down there, and another one. I've showed these a couple times before, but this is the other side of my studio. I turned my living room into my studio. And matter of fact, I wanted to plug these lights in. Go ahead and just plug those in right there. And as we pan scan around the studio, over to here, I'm in the living room right now, and I was messing around with a couple of my tackle boxes because I've been going down to the pier lately, the dock, the boat dock, and you know, just fishing off the dock. I'll be ready to put the canoe in anytime now, even though it is a little cold to even stick my feet in the water. So anyway, that's the rest of the living room, and this is my other side of my studio over here. This is my and that I think I mentioned, it is Thanksgiving Day today, so I am home here by myself. Now let's see, this thing takes a long time to switch it back around. Well, oh, okay, well, it does take a long time. So, but I want to be able to go in close up and talk to you all like that, you know, a little bit personal. Anyway, I think the regular YouTube streaming app is a lot faster. It turns it right around right away. This one has a few second lapse. But anyway, so I'm going to turn it back around again, and I'm just going to talk as I'm showing you all the things that I'm doing. Okay, here it goes. All right, I'm back looking at my desk again, and that's the new laptop I just got. I mean, not a laptop, the tablet right there. That's the Amazon tablet. And then that's my new mixer, or some people call it an interface. And it's supposed to be pretty good. It's got all kinds of, you know, you can see the sound effect buttons right there. They have like, you know, if you want to have a dog barking or some whistle blow or something like that, that's what all these buttons down here are for, which I didn't even think about. And then this is my new Audio Pro microphone, which is supposed to be pretty much in the category, or just maybe a little bit below the Yeti, or pretty much in the category of the Yeti. I'm not an expert on that, so, but it's supposed to be a pretty good one. It was about $50 less than the Yeti. So let's see, and that's just a bunch of wires that are connecting the interface, this microphone, and my laptop. So my laptop's pretty old, but there it is. HP, and got a couple of scratch tickets to do later on. Holiday hundreds. Hey, could be a winner. Well, considering I just spent $1,000 on car repairs in the past couple of days, cost me almost $750 to get the brakes done, because I went on the Parkway and really done worn out the brakes pretty good. And even though I was shifting down, but it's not a standard transmission, it is an automatic transmission, but it does have a third, second, and first gear on it. And let's see, I'm just scanning this around as I'm talking to maybe make it a little more interesting. It's a statue in my house, nativity. And I don't know if any of you know, but I collect 1/64 scale die cast. I have been for about 30 or 40, yeah, more like about 45 years. And so I have a few thousand of these. They're Hot Wheels cars, Matchbox cars, some called Johnny Lightnings, you know. And there's a little example of one right there, Tweety Bird. And I also have these little figures, these 3.5-inch G.I. Joe type figures. And I do the regular, this picture of my wife who died, passed away, Jackie. That's when we went to Oregon. We went all up and down the Oregon and half of the California, some of the California coast. So anyway, but I don't want to get too far away from what I was saying over here. Oh yeah, so this owl broke, so that's one of the things I'm going to do today is glue this owl, fix that. And I've got to switch a swivel on at least one of my rods, fishing rods that is. And that's it right there. It was my wife Jackie's, but she never got a chance to use it. She used her other one she has, but this one's pretty nice. I'll put that down there. And the handle of my rake broke, so I got this replacement handle, and there's the rake. So I just gotta drill that part out right there, that where it broke right there. Stick this one in there, and I'll show you. It will, hopefully the rake will be good again. So that's another project I got to do today. And this right here is a 55-pound thrust trolling motor. It's a Newport, and I have a 27-pound thrust, but you know, of course I wanted more power, you know, like Mr. Tim on Tool World. There's another picture of Jackie. They had this thing there that you could pretend you were surfing. Oop. And I was on the one pretending I was riding one of those jet ski things. See, I weighed a lot more then. I lost 100 pounds, but the camera does add on some weight. And we also collected Barbies. So this, that is the Scooby-Doo Barbie, one of them. And Scooby-Doo doggy is around here somewhere, but anyway, that doesn't matter. And there's a NASCAR Barbie, and there's a picture of Jackie, my wife. Get a little close up there. There we go. She was pretty. And I'm sure she still is. Wherever she is, she's probably even more pretty. And then there's a couple more 1/64 scale die cast from the movie Cars, and from the well, it's like one from one of the Fast and Furious. And then this one is, let's see, just to show you, Oh yeah, I have a bunch from the movie Jurassic World. I like getting the ones from the movies and the TV shows. I got some real old ones. Though no, the cars themselves aren't necessarily real old. They're about 20 or 30 years old, maybe. But the shows are pretty old, you know. And so I'll just do a quick scanner on there. My whole house is just chock full of way too much stuff. And but like I said, I'm just putting around here on Thanksgiving morning by myself. I cooked this. I'm going to, what it is pasta, shell pasta, and some ziti type pasta with mushrooms, sausage, and tomato, some crushed tomato in there. So I'm going to add a few things to it and stir it around a little bit. And I boil my water over here because it's kind of gives us a little bit, it gave us a little bit of a stomach ache when we just drank it out of the tap. And the animals sure love it out of the tap. If I put down this regular boiled water here in their bowl, you know, after it cools off, they don't like it. They don't drink it. They like they like it out of the tap. Of course, animals have a stronger stomach for things, for digesting things. And so there's one of my other fishing rods right there that I was going to work with a little bit since we were going by it just now. I figured I would show it. And it's kind of short, this one. You can't really tell by looking at it that way, but it's sort of a surf casting rod, though. You know, that kind is. And there's just one thing I want to do to that. And of course, the cat's bowl. I'm making this stream a little longer than I expected. That's all right. And this here, because this here, Temptations, that's the company that at first they just made the little packets, you know, the little snack packets. But just recently, within the past year, they started making them in regular size, big, like 16-pound and 14-pound bags. So I bought that, and they love them. So that's actually part of their treat that I put down there. They're kind of spoiled now. They go in and out all the time if I open the door enough for them. Of course, you know, I'll do this. See if it turn around, or you have to wait for it to turn around. Okay. Now, anyone that has cats or that knows about cats, that had cats before, this is a little riddle, but what is the definition of a door? Just a regular door. It is something that cats want to be on the other side of. And if you have cats, you sure know that. Because, you know, the little one over here, Romeo, her new trick is to go out here the back door, run around to the front as fast as she can, and pull. Unfortunately, she really messed up that screen, but I'll just have to replace it. You know, pull on the screen to make the door knock, to make it come back and hit, and make a knocking sound. And it didn't matter if I locked it, because she tried to do it anyway. But anyway, so go out the back, run around the front, meow, 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 meow her head off. And I let her in the front, and that's her new trick. As soon as she comes in, just run right to the back door. Just want to go right around and do it again. She'd do it to infinity if she could, because 2 doors, you know, it's heaven for a cat. Something they want to be on the other side of. And, okay, so I'll go out here, put that down. Well, since we're going by here, the washing machine, it's just showing what's behind me. I'll go like this. Maybe that will help. Anyway, no, not really. The washing machine started smoking the other day, and it stopped. And I thought I got it in time, but what happened was I had done just a small load on the lowest setting for a small load. And then when, that was all done, everything, I had forgotten to switch it back to large load. And I put in, it ended up being a pretty large load, the next load. And it was only enough water for a small load. I didn't actually know what that small load setting exactly did. I just know that was a setting you're supposed to put it on when you're doing a small load. But I guess mostly what it does is just controls the amount of water that goes into the washing machine here. And it was having a hard time spinning, because when it got to the spin, it had to turn. It didn't have enough water to do that. And so I thought it burnt out the whole motor, but I think it might be a belt. So I took off this screw, this little screw here, and this is the cap for that. And it's still, switch it back. There. Okay. And there it is. Get some clothes hanging up there. See, it turns, and the bottom part turns, but I took out this screw, and I thought that it was one of them kind of screws that goes all the way down. But it turns out it's just this tiny little screw right here that goes there. So I wanted to take this part off. So I'm still working on that. Handyman is supposed to be able to fix anything around the house. Let's see, I'll put the outside light on. And I reckon I will plug in my other outside lights. I kind of do this every night. They're not just for Christmas, although they look good for Christmas. Oh, there he is. Of course, he didn't come in last night. I didn't know where he was. Anyway, here we are back out on the deck. As y'all know, the last almost a hurricane storm stowed in my canopy shelter that I had over there. That's what we call in the pen. I had built this pen for a dog when we used to have a dog. But, and there's the truck. That's what I just had. I started saying before, I'll get back to that. So it was about a little under $740 for the brakes. Of course, when they looked at it, he said he needed it. It needed it all the way around, all four brakes. Every part that could be replaced had to be replaced. So that's why it came up to that much. And he's supposed to be a pretty trusted mechanic. You know, he was recommended by the church, and they said that he's the one that they take their vehicles to all the time when they need any work done on any vehicles. And hey, the pinwheel's going. I just stood it up and it just started going, because it's supposed to be getting colder. And I got these other two pinwheels, flower pinwheels. That way I can look out or see which ways the wind's coming from. Like right now, well, it's supposed to be coming from the west to the east here, but it looks like that one there could be coming from the coast. And so this is the project I was doing out here. This is when I thought it might be a good idea to try a little streaming. This is a bowl that I made up for the possum, Polly Possum, and I had a cabbage. I just put that out there on something, and so she can find that. But this bowl I'm going to leave down there in front of that tree for her, and that's the scraps right there. A few of the things had a little bit of mold on them, so I cut the moldy parts off. And so we got some grapes. Polly's going to have some grapes and some orange, tangerines actually, and some hot dog rolls that were getting a little old. They didn't have any, mold on them or anything, but recently I found out that, and I'm just going to walk down here. I might as well leave it on this front setting. So recently I found out, fairly recently, that mold on bread can kill you. And I sure didn't know that. I didn't generally go around eating mold from bread, off the bread. But I guess it's a good thing, because it has killed some people. Okay, let's zoom it in there. There we go. I just learned how to do that zoom. The guy at the Verizon office actually showed me how to do it. And that's a fireplace. It's covered up for the winter. And that's the other side. This is what the other side of the, that broken canopy looks like. And I might as well just back up and show you around a little bit. So we'll go over here. That's getting kind of old, but it's still good. Love grows here. I guess it still does. And my van that still works, but there's a little kitty that lives underneath it now. That's where he goes in and out. We call him Little Brownie. Hey, Little Brownie. Him or her. And that's what that looks like from that side. And that's, I'll just stand around. Now that trailer right there, the neighbors use that for storage. That's what they used to call Daddy's trailer. Their daddy lived there when he got older. And there's our tall, tall, tall Carolina pines. They are tall. And that's a tall holly tree. That's a holly tree that was just little when we moved here, and it's really tall now. But animals live in most of these trees. So, and there's a horse stable. It leaks now, so it's not that good for storage. And but that's what I put this on at least one of the other videos. That's what we kept the horses in. Gypsy and Snowball. And I'm over here at the edge of our woods. And our woods goes down to Rant. And then back side of the woods down here. And cricker bushes are getting my feet. And this is the side of this canopy. It came with a side wall on it. So it's like the whole thing was an American flag. I could have got a solid color of it, but I decided. But then the only one they had with a pattern on it was this American flag, and I thought that seems pretty cool. So then we pan scan back around here. We're going up against the side of the woods now. Boy, I better put that back down. That was blurry that way. And it goes across. We used to live in a house over there on the other side of these woods. These are the woods that I planted all of these trees, except for that big one down there. Okay, that's where the ones, I'll put it right there. That's where the ending of the ones I planted are. And then and we actually had an opportunity to stay at a campground for a year at this place called Cedar Island, North Carolina, which turned out to be really nice. It's on the Pamlico Sound, actually. And so when we did that, when we come back, the people that were renting that house it burnt down. Somehow it burnt down. And so we couldn't move back into that one, which we couldn't have anyway, because those people were living there. But anyway, so there's my luxury liner over here. That's what the back of the deck looks like. That's because that's the shelter that I made for all the cats. First I just made it for all the outside cats, but now of course they all go in it, but one of them kind of lives in it, Max, under that green part. So I made that waterproof. I put up those couple beach umbrellas we had, and there's the canoe, and I finished it finally. I got all these pool noodles on it with zip ties and Gorilla Glue and everything, and I've done the same thing to the other side here too. So it's, you can get up real close, you can see it might not look the best, but I think it looks pretty cool. And I painted those stripes on it at the bottom, and it's got about, I think I sprayed about 20 coats of paint on it and an equal number of polyurethane. And one time I stepped in it in Cedar Island, in this little bay where we had the camper. We had our camper over there, and this part went down and the front part went up, and well, to put it bluntly, I done fell out the back, and because I was the only one in it. And luckily there were no tackle boxes or anything in it at the time, but if there were, it might have balanced out the weight a little bit, but that's okay, because I'm a pretty good swimmer. I used to be a lifeguard for a while and one time in my life, and the water wasn't over my head anyway. Stop. Okay, it just stopped. Is it still going? Oh, it says it's still going. Okay. A pop-up just came up that said stop. But so we're moving back in the house. Let's see. Put it back on me. It's pretty cold out here. It's a cold Thanksgiving Day. You never know what it's going to do on Thanksgiving. Sometimes it snows. Sometimes it just really rains. Sometimes it's a light rain. Sometimes a cold rain. I'll just leave all that there for now. Looks good. I'll bring these things in. And or like today, it's just really cold air, which is actually the air that the weather people are saying that coming out from the west, like the Rocky Mountains, and blowing on over here. And so that's what's bringing all the cold. And so we'll go on in, push through. There we go. Go around here. Grab that. Hello. I got some really nice new teeth just for the top. I didn't need them for the bottom, but you know, it's not a good feeling when you have to do that. But anyway, I'm just home by myself right now, and they're kind of, you know, they're not comfortable to have in that much, you know. It's like having a chunk of plastic in your mouth. But anyway, so I don't have them in now. So my mouth looks a little funny. And put this over here, and that's just about it. And so, like I said, this is my first time using this new app called the Stream app. It's just called Stream app. And back in my chair. And so I wanted to say, see, I never really was good at beginning and ending any live streams, but this is about my fourth or fifth one, maybe. I had to delete a couple, but I guess I didn't have to. They came out without any audio, and I didn't know why. But I could have added some audio, you know, over it, but it wouldn't have looked natural. Anyway, that was when I first had started doing it, which was a couple weeks ago. When I first started streaming for the first time. No, it was about a month ago, and I did 2, and then I went a few weeks, and then I did recently those ones on my trip up to Cherokee and the Blue Ridge Parkway, And all those ones with the tunnels, that's on Blue Ridge Parkway, and all those ones of me driving and telling stories, that's coming back from Cherokee. And but what I wanted to say was thank you all so much for clicking on me, tuning in, watching this video. And I don't know if there's going to be any questions or anything, but if you sure are welcome to put in questions wherever you can type them in. And if I see them, if I can find them, which I probably will, at least eventually, I'll answer them, you know, the best I can. And again, thank you. I appreciate it. I don't have too many likes and all that, but I getting a few anyway. More than I expected. Not a lot more, but so anytime if you want to, if they give you an opportunity to hit, you know, click on that like thumbs up thing, you know, that sure would be appreciated, so I can keep going here. And the subscribe, of course, you know, anyone wants to subscribe. I've had a lot of slice of life types of things so far, you know, and then I've had the cats, which are probably the most popular. You know, there's the star of the show right there, Romeo. Hey, Romeo. Okay. She's the star, even though she's a little terror. She's the one that wrecked the screen, doing her trick. And so, and you're all welcome anytime you see a live stream to just come back here anytime. You can come by here. I got a front room that, see, this house, I had my bedroom and bathroom in the back. I'll show you. Okay, I'm back at my desk, and there's the other half of my studio. I had my bedroom and bathroom were down the hall over there. And then, and this is where, that's on the other side of the kitchen there, where that little doorway is. So I'll zoom up to it. That's the bedroom that I've stayed in since my wife passed away. But that was her bedroom and her bathroom over there. And I just realized I didn't finish telling the story about my trolling motor. Well, I'll just quickly, I might as well go over it. So I have a pretty good motor, and it's really fast enough, but I wanted to get one that was faster, you know. So I got this 55-pound thrust motor, but when it got delivered, I was like, holy cow, I don't remember ordering a refrigerator. And then I opened it up, and I started pulling it out, and I pulled it out about a quarter of the way, and it weighed about 100 pounds, and it was huge. And I was like, man, I'm never going to fit this on my canoe, you know. And I started to do a return to Amazon, but I guess I just didn't finish it, and I forgot about it, because deep down I kind of wanted to keep it anyway, although I could use the $300. But so they let you pay on installments for certain things like this, you know. And so that's the first time I ever did it that way, but I had set this up that way. And so after the truck cost that much, I said, well, I better return that motor. And they said, well, it's too late. You know, you started earlier, but then you didn't finish it. And the day went by. And so they're really good. Amazon's usually, they've been really good to me, you know, as far as buying things and returns and customer service and all that. A couple security issues, but customer service was so good. You know, they're really great people over there. I don't mind promoting Amazon a little bit because I like what I was saying, you know. And the convenience of them, you know, it's great. Oh, okay. She still wants to get in on the act. Yeah, yep. You, well, how come Daddy's not paying enough attention to you, right? Right. I want to be in it, Daddy. You want, okay. That's Romeo. So, love you all, really do, because, y'all are my fans now. And if you're just stopping by, then you sure are welcome here. And what I was going to say is, so since I got that front bedroom over there and bathroom, y'all can just come and stay here anytime. And I hope you all have a great, happy Thanksgiving for the rest of the day and a great rest of the week and great weekend. And y'all just take care, all right? I'm going to sign off now. Bye.